Welcome back, everyone. Today we have the Romanian World of Tanks League finals between GTD and Legend. I am here with the amazing Keyhand, and we will bring you a hopefully very interesting best of 9.
Yeah, a wonderful evening from me as well. And I believe the first thing we're going to do is take a quick look at how we got to this matchup. This means basically taking a look at the tournament tree.
We started with the group phase. We had a total of 5 groups, and overall 25 teams participated. Then, and that is what you can see right now, we had a single elimination bracket starting with best of 5 matches, then developing into best of 7 matches. So you can see we have the blue side and the red side, then combining to the final that you can see in the bottom. Okay, we had some interesting matches, but both of them were pretty one-sided. In the semifinals, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, semifinals, one of them was 4-0, one of them was 4-1, obviously indicating that both of these teams simply are just on a different level, entirely different level than all of the others we have seen, which should make for a very interesting finals here. Interesting to note, for me, favorite, Legend actually dropped one game in their semifinals against Energy, while GTD against G-On managed to pull off a convincing 4-0. Although you have to say, except the game which Legend dropped, and they even had a stage 2 in that one on Cliff, the other ones were not even close. I think those were along the lines of like 15-1, 15-3. But yeah, that just underlines those two teams definitely deserve to be in the finals. And the finals, I believe we can hop into the pick and ban, as I believe there's only about a minute left until we can hop into the game itself. And here we can see a very, very interesting structure, basically a pick or 2 picks going first before the bans, since this is a best of 9. GTD going with their signature map, or so I've been told, of Live Oaks. They look very good against Gion there, 2-0, obviously in a 4-0. Then Legend with the OG pick, Himmelsdorf. I love to see it. Then we see 2 bands coming out, Ensk and Morobanka respectively. Then we got Proco by GTD, another open map after Live Oaks, Sand River after Himmelsdorf from Legend, which is like semi-open. Tiebreaker is Malinovka. There's one map I'm missing. I would have liked to see Cliff, but both teams sort of not going for it. Legend not looking that good against Energy here, and GTD probably thinking that Legend improved on whatever they did in the semis. So yeah, there we go. That's what we're gonna see. And I would say we can go into the game right here. And yeah. And yeah, we can see the picks of the respective tanks. GTD here coming in, I believe, on the defending side with a GW, double EBR, double STB, which probably indicates Southeast commitment yet again. 1907, 1 Leo, and the rest all Chieftains, while a Legend going with a GW as well, double EBR, double STB as well, 1907. It's basically mirror setups here.
Well, there's one EVR on top. From one of the teams, so it's 2 versus 3 EVRs.
And also there's a 279 actually by GTD. But yeah, GTD obviously defending from the bottom left, Legend attacking from top right. And as both teams have 2 STBs, that normally would indicate that both teams would like to go for the corner, southeast. But it's only Legend really going there. GTD opting for tactical city commitment, even though they are putting 2 EBRs in the south. So they will have very early and safe info here. But yeah, first of all, it's about those EBRs here in the north, just exchanging spots here, and Hidden Ultra Instinct sort of clearing the way for his heavy tanks. But they're not going to find anything, as we know that the zero line has been taken by Legend.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a big brawl in the previous game between Gion and GTD here on exactly this corner. But it looks like GTD has a different game plan for this match, and they knocked over the tree. Like later, this can be taken for an EBR again to have a passive spot there. Obviously, it's easy to blind for it. Oh, there's the first kill already on one
Last
of the
Ghost dropping
EBRs.
early here.
I mean, I guess he was trying to, keep the spots and was pushed back early enough. And yeah, now with that being done, I mean, it's 1 versus 3 EBRs.
This almost forces Legend into a south commitment here, because they've lost one of their 2 EBRs while the enemy team still has 3. That still means that Legend has more combat tanks, but they're just pressured into making some sort of push now, which we see now in the south here. The mediums in front of the heavy tanks, 907s, STBs just rushing over that K line, trying to take the hull downs in K4, and the Chieftains not far behind here. We do see some sort of defensive perimeter being set up here on the 0 line northeast behind their own cap by Legend, but it's all about this commitment here that we see with the mediums. And yeah, actually feel the Jägermeister in the EBR getting picked up as well. So GTD now only operating with 2 EBRs. That's pretty good for them. But we are going to have to see the SCB being pushed up this far. I'm not sure if I'm a fan, because the SCB obviously cannot side scrape. And yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting, although the corner K2 is still being held firmly by 1279 and 1 Chieftain. That is going to be pretty good for them. And I like Dragos being pushed up here in the Chieftain. He's not going to be able to be shot by anyone, as the north side hasn't really been taken by GTD, so he's going to be sort of safe except from artillery, and we're going to see just how far his spots can extend.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that the 279 was a bit late there, like crossing back from the H1 position. But yeah, he arrived with over 2k HP left. And yeah, it's always super important to have some tanks either there or at the beginning at G4. I will quickly show it on the minimap. So basically this position here or this position to either punish this cross or punish a cross in this direction and then towards the cap. So yeah, we see a defensive setup, I would say, from GTD. Obviously, they're also on the defending side. They have a decent HP lead. Yeah, earlier, I think there would have been a chance to put an EBR into the middle. I feel like, especially when it was 3 versus 1 EBRs, you should have tried to establish some passive light in some of the middle bushes. I feel like there's not really any chance of blinding them because there's just too much space. And it looks like we have a bit of a stalemate in here because both RTs moved into the safe positions. All the heavy tanks are, yeah, pretty much positioned safely. And yeah, I mean, 6 minutes left. There's definitely space for rotation. What do you think? What should be the next move?
It's a difficult call to make here, and I think Legend is sort of realizing that, as wherever they're going to push into, they're going to bleed heavily, and them being down on HP obviously doesn't help. If they push K-Line with the mediums, they'll be running into Chieftain 279 with mediums and a lot of open ground to cover, while there will be snipers helping from like E2. They will extend their draw distance or their render just to be able to help there. And yeah, if they push north, it's like the same story on the A line. Because first of all, they don't even have that many tanks there to push, and second of all, we see there's just so many tanks by GTD set up there, just ready to receive. And if there is a big push coming out, GTD could even relocate their DE2 tanks into the city, and yeah, just counter everything that Legend would be throwing at them. To be honest, I'm at the moment sort of lacking ideas as to what GTD. As to what Legend should be doing here right now. They probably need some sort of lucky pickup on one of the EBRs, maybe even both, to make this worthwhile. We now see Dragos here going forward, trying to just get even more information, and I believe where he's going to, like F3, he should also be safe, but the thing is, I don't think he will be able to spot the EBR. He will maybe be able to see the tanks in DE2, but those can just drop north of the ridgeline and be perfectly fine. They're perfectly safe. And yeah, he's sort of trying to do what he can. Obviously, notice we have arrived at the stage where people don't run small med or repair kits anymore. It is just an example of what to do in a Chieftain here.
I mean, he doesn't have improved equip. That's definitely a point to mention, I guess.
Yeah, but that's sort of the only point of criticism, as he does take one in the side turret, so he does know now where some of the tanks by GTD are, but really he's just trading HP for info, the well-known keyhand trade here. And yeah, the RT trying to take a swing at him, even taking off some HP. That was a beautiful shot, I have to say. And yeah, but still, problem remains. It's now, while we've been talking over 2 minutes have passed by, and not really a lot has happened in terms of HP. This just means time is a ticking here for Legend, and they're realizing this. They're probably gonna try to push out the K line now. They're relocating 3 more Chieftains here. I'm wondering though, if it's even gonna be enough. And the other question remains: like, they've left the north so open now that should GTD, upon seeing the push, just decide to immediately repush north, then I believe they would, or Legend would, even lose the cap race. And I don't like what the Chieftains are doing here, peeking once and then going. This just gives those 2-3 more seconds for the defenders to realize what's happening. But yeah, I believe now finally the push is starting here. The signs at the moment are not that good for Legend, as they are still down in HP, but huge Arty connection coming out. Ronnie the Wise didn't see the Chieftains in time. Now those cross without taking a lot of HP. Ronnie the Wise down to a 2-shot, down to a 1-shot. Captain Phantom bouncing 1-shot, but it's White Rock to pick him up. It's only the 279 left here, and we do see the rotation coming in by GTD. They're not going for the north repush. Instead, they're trying to reinforce the south.
Yeah, I mean, with those tanks kind of taking 2 for free, we balance out the HP. But yeah, overall, with Legend still bleeding on the cross, I would say it was a decent move. But now the next step will be expensive again, and they still don't have taken the G1 position, neither the E1 position to kind of like cap safely. One thing to consider is definitely that G1 is down in tanks. It's 4 tanks down for GTD and only 1 for Legend. HP are more or less evening out, and with the triple chieftain there, it's C7 and D8. You kind of have some defensive stance. So if they would they're able to pick up the EBR there. So Legend actually bled a lot of HP for this move. But if they put 1 or 2 tanks into the cap circle, yeah, you can see it right now on the left edge of the screen, they might actually be able to force GTD into a move and hold their tanks in the cap.
Yeah, I like what Legend is doing here, just taking the dip in G1 with Chieftains cost what it may. It's just forcing now the GTD tanks to just freely peak and just give those free shots to the Legend tanks. I mean, clock is down to 1 minute 30, but the HP are actually now they are still in favor of GTD, I believe. But the thing remains, it's just a battle all over. The tanks are far in favor of Legend, and the cap obviously too. We do see 1 EBR hurrying back towards the cap. He's gonna have to do a suicide recap as well, and CYE Vele for the win here in the Chieftain holding as a 1-shot against the onslaught of tanks in the north. It's all down to the EBR here now with 2 seconds on the cap. Can he do it? He does get 1 more reset. He doesn't get picked up in the process. He's still a 2-shot. This is very good, but will he have the HP for another one? That's going to have to be seen. But I think with 50 seconds on the clock, Legend probably has this in the bag, as they have so many tanks still to spare, and Wildthink will probably not be able to get a spot even onto the cap.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty great move, I would say. Like, they had a plan. They executed it by first taking daggers there in this chieftain, first to the G4 position, then carefully moving up to F3, E3. I think a big problem was that there are no tanks really positioned from GTD in G1. That's the dip, where you usually have some arty at the beginning. And yeah, I would say it was a deserved victory from the side of Legend. Very aggressive approach, and yeah, good job. Like, considering that this is supposed to be like the favorized map of Team GTD, or the home map of GTD,
and even their defense, mind you.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Legend did what they needed to do. After being down 1 light tank, down in HP, they needed to surprise GTD with a push, and that's exactly what they did. And that is exactly where the point of criticism comes in here as well. I believe it was Romy Wise and the 279. H-tag by GTD holding in the south, and they did not have any info on what was happening. The Chiefs should have been side scraping to just see if there was a push coming over K-line. Yes, you will probably take Arty fire for it, but if you don't peek, then this exactly is going to happen. It's just going to snowball out of control, where you lose 2 tanks for free, and after that you lose map control because your repush wasn't decisive enough. They sort of decided to hold south and hold north, and then repush some tanks south, but they didn't even try to take the dip or anything. It was just them being stunned and in awe, and stunned not only by the artillery, but by what was happening to them, by what Legend was doing to them. So overall, well done by Legend, coming back from being down in HP, down in tanks, and just, taking it to the enemy team in a pretty convincing manner, you have to say.
Yeah, I think a big problem with the EBR gameplay from the side of GTD. Very early in the game, we saw, we didn't really saw it on the camera, but we saw that Last Ghost in his EBR dropped, like, very early, and then it was 3 versus 1 EBRs. And I didn't really feel like the GTD EBRs made enough of a difference. I feel like the middle, they could have played it completely different. I don't know, like, they didn't really... Like, the point of EBRs is a lot of information game. So you want to spot out the enemies, you want to get some shots for free whenever they're moving, and the complete rotation towards the south, this clockwise rotation from the rails towards the small buildings there into the small forest in the very south corner, like, it wasn't punished, and also the reaction of not doing anything but sending some tanks back to fire at the cap, it was just not enough. I feel like they were not really sure on what to do. Maybe they were actually too convinced of their defensive stance being strong enough there. And yeah, with them getting the chieftain already in kind of like their own rows and not being able to take any control over the cap circle, well, I want to see more from the next match.
Yeah, and the next match we are immediately getting here. Round 2 between GTD and Legend in the Romanian World of Tanks League. And Legend now on the defending side, coming in with a CGC WBR double CS, surprisingly enough. And yeah, the rest is, it's actually only one EBR, one CS, but the rest is only Chieftains. GTD on the other side, also a CGC, and then the double EBR, double CS, double 260. And yeah, a lot of Chieftains. I believe we did see the double 260 in the semis, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, usually, I think originally this idea of double 260 comes from the 2018 RU versus EU Super Cup show match, where Fame was pushing them under from the what for us is the defending side right now towards the D7 position. I remember we saw those 260s driving into the city to like before to snipe at the EBRs and potentially at the building. But now, well, GTD coming with a big rail push, and there's only the T100. Let's take a look at the T100. Interesting selection of bushes here. That will not be able to spot them in any way.
Yeah, obviously Live Oak's one of those maps where, since it hasn't been played that frequently yet, albeit it has been played in a lot of past tournaments, I believe there is still a lot of unexplored area in the middle of the map, if you so will, since precisely that can happen. You can find out completely new bushes in training rooms. You can spend hours upon hours trying to improve your tree fell rating, and then you will stumble upon something and be like, hey, this is pretty good. We might even be able to use this. And yeah, that being said and done, I believe we are seeing sort of the same thing that we did see last round. The attacking side taking the 0 line. And the
T100 actually got spotted.
Ooh.
And took a shot, but I think he should be safe now.
I guess the hours in the training room not working out there. But yeah, as I was saying, we are seeing about the same thing here. Attacking side taking east, taking southeast, taking south. Defending side sort of taking the city. But there is a big difference here, and that is that Legend doesn't have any tanks in K2 here behind the indestructible house. Instead, they're opting to have hold-down chieftains in the G1, G2 dip to be able to spot and reset the cap with impunity. And then they have chieftains in DE2 that should be able to punish anyone that is going to go to the dip where Dragos was last game. And yeah, I believe the EBR is now going to try to do just that. Obviously better suited for spotting, but worsely so for dealing damage. But yeah, he's going to get a lot of information. Actually, he doesn't. He just sees one chieftain and that's about it. So yeah, GTD is in the same spot, same hot seat that Legend was in that last round. They just need to figure out how to break the enemy camp, but I believe they have a lot less info on where the enemy is actually situated.
Some tanks, obviously, the CS was picked for some early aggression. They're definitely capable of rotating. I feel like what they should do right now is trying to find out on where the T100 went to make sure that it didn't really pay out picking the T100 and getting it somewhere in like F5 into those bushes. I mean, we see the 260 on J4 already, and now Wild Thing in his Chieftain also going through, so they have some information about what is not on certain positions. So usually you take some shots going into the J4 position if there is something on K2, so you know there shouldn't be anything there. Also, Wild Thing, we can take a look at his perspective. He went pretty far already now, and reached, might even unspotted the position here, F3. And yeah, well, now he takes a hit.
I don't think he's unspotted, to be fair here. But yeah, the thing is, he should be, except for artillery, obviously, be pretty safe if he doesn't peek up, because his team is still holding the house in like D7-8. That basically eliminates any angle from the right, and obviously behind him on the left there is just his allies, so he will be able to spot out. For example, Kaput, who is caught out here in his CS, is, I believe, double tracked, needs to be very careful. Kozanak trying to shield him here, and yeah, just Kaput with a
questionable.
I would say, very questionable play here. Just one tank for free. That's mistakes that should just not happen.
Yeah, and it's reflected by the HP bar. You can see it right now. Legend being down roughly 2k HP. That was this CS. And with the EBR, we can see it now. I hope I'm clicking on the right one. Yep. I feel the Jägermeister pushing out the K-line position. There is a lot of information gained by that. Because, taking a look at the minimap, we see that there's not a lot left for Legend.
Yes. Also, I believe one of the no, I'm mistaken. There are still both chieftains in the ditch. But the thing is, it's obviously easy to backseat game here. But Kaput,
I think the EBR tried to push A line.
Yeah. EBR died on the A line. It's obviously easy to backseat game, but the chieftain in F3 was spotted, so Kaput should never peak like this. But yeah, as we're seeing all of this, there is now the big A-line repush going on by Legend. They feel pressured into this because they know the enemy has a lot of tanks committed to the south, and now they're pushing here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 chieftains actually just down through that A-line. They're trying to get Hull down behind that slight ditch on the A-B line, and so far they are still losing a lot of HP for it. Seaway Velina FTW dropping down to a one-shot, but it is about BQ Bucks, Unreal, White Rock 7, and Beggin. They're still very healthy. They're trying to get into the corner, trying to overwhelm just for kill you, Pro League. But is it gonna happen? BQ Bucks already down a lot of HP, and actually Unreal gets set on fire. He's probably screaming his name right now, just like Jostra likes to do it. And now White Rock and 7, they have finally arrived at the enemy chieftain here. Just kill for you, Pro League, down to a 3-shot here right now, just getting bamboozled by the amount of enemy tanks. But so many tanks by Legend are falling at the moment, and I believe this repush here on the A line, it's just falling apart. It's just falling to pieces. Phil, I believe we might need a cleanup on the A line right now, as it's a big mess here for Legend.
The cleanup is coming right now. Albert Pro League in his EBR, hidden Ultra Instinct in the CS. We talked about it earlier. Those tanks are very fast in rotation, and I feel like it was a great move from GTD, coming back with their chieftains, not overstaying on the peninsula there in the J6 positions. And yeah, we can see it right now. It paid out. 5 tanks left plus the artillery for Legend, and that's a pretty convincing comeback. So, I mean, they were known for playing good on this map, and I guess they were showing that one defeat isn't everything. And yeah, they pulled back, and I hope we will get some more action.
Yeah, as we can just see the last remainders of the team from Legend here still in that G2 dip, and that also tells a tale of how methodical GTD is here. They immediately recognized they could hold that A-line push, and thus the tanks committed to the south didn't have to do anything. They were just sitting there and keeping the chieftains in that contain down there, just waiting until the A-line push gets cleaned up, and now it's just almost the entirety of the GTD team converging here onto, I guess, Roby, and the last one is Sophia. And yeah, just convincing stuff by GTD here, getting
Pick
a
up.
very... Ooh, yeah, the mission. I mean, it doesn't matter in the end, but nice pickup still by the Artie. But yeah, both sides with an attack victory, and if Sophia drops within like a minute or so, then it will be GTD having the faster attack. So should from now on only defenses win, then it would be
GTD deciding on the tiebreaker.
GTD deciding the tiebreaker. But yeah, since we have Himmelsdorf as the next map coming up, not sure. We'll see what happens there. But I do have to say, after the first game, I was a little worried here, a little concerned for GTD, because it was just so aggressive, and everything was just so like everything just fell in place so nicely for Legend, and it just looked like they were just the better team individually as well as a unit, just built different. But now I'm starting to think that the supposed Romanian giant can be indeed hurt.
Yeah, I think Legend is also kind of having the point of all the benefit when it comes to the clan name of having some international teams from previous events, from previous campaigns and stuff like that. So this is just a measurement of like one team versus another now. And yeah, I would say after this game, GTD is back in the spot, and with a 1-1 on the first map, I'm looking forward to see Himmelsdorf and hopefully some nice action there.
I'm also looking forward to seeing you in the battle.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 minutes back.
But yeah, I believe we have already analyzed what happened on those previous two maps, so I guess we can go back into the pick and ban a bit and just analyze it a bit more, because I felt like it was a little short when we did it before the games.
Yeah,
and,
so well, what we just discussed, like Himmelsdorf second map, the map was picked by Legend, so the site selection was on the side of GTD. From what I can see, GTD actually picked. Do I see it correct that they picked defense? Yeah, it looks like they picked defense. No, they picked attack. Yeah, that's correct. They picked attack from the side of GTD. That means Legend is defending on the map that they picked. Both bans afterwards were maps that we didn't see in the semifinals, so Ensk and Morovanka. Prokhorovka would be the next one. We saw that a bit of a weird camp, I guess, from Walt, where they completely ignored the 1-2, I don't know, like 1-6 line positions, if you remember.
I mean, that was sort of an all-in camp, if that makes sense.
I didn't really like that. So with that being said, I feel like we should mention that Sand River was played, I think, by both teams already in the previous times, but I wouldn't really say that there was anything special about the Sand River that we saw from Legend. I mean, like, obviously Legend had
there was something special about it. I mean, they just drove over energy in that one, I believe. It was 15-1 and 15-3, and it was just super convincing stuff from them. It just looked super solid.
Yeah, you're right in that regard, but I felt like the Sand River game was kind of like just showing the big differences of the teams. Obviously, it was well done by Legend, but to be honest, I kind of felt like it was more failure of one team than like superior gameplay by the other. But I guess one belongs to the other, and we definitely don't want to like talk bad about Legend's performance. They had a very convincing
Microphone?
What? Sorry?
Microphone? I didn't hear you, sorry.
Yeah, so what I said is that they won 2-0 on Sand River, so that's just stats to be taken. There's not a lot of room for interpretation. And if we get that far, I mean, it's a best of 9, so 5 wins are needed. And yeah, I hope that GTD is prepared and we will see some interesting action there.
Yep, indeed. And in we go, only 20 seconds left. If you want, we can take a sneak peek at the lineup here that's coming in by Legend.
Yeah, I mean, one Batchat, one CS, that's usually something that you use for the hill. Double 50B, 1, 2, how many 279s? 4 279s, 5 279s, and a Chieftain lineup. I mean, Chieftains is something that we kind of see all the time.
I mean, back in the 2684 meta, when I used to FC and I didn't know what to fill up with, it was like, just take 2684s, my dudes. Nowadays, it has come to be sort of the Chieftain, just your standard all-round tank, not too slow, pretty good at hull down, you know. But yeah, in we go into game number 3, and we're going to see who pulls ahead here. Legend on the defense coming in, as you said, CS, Bat, some Chieftains, 5279s, double B. GTD, on the other hand, going with the CS as well, no Bat, so that should be immediate hill presence here for Legend. But GTD does have a 60 TP, sort of probably going into one of those windows just to get the better HE trades. And indeed, we can immediately see here a lot of tanks by Legend just getting diverted towards the hill. It's a double B, it's a CS.
What is happening there with the Chieftains? Are they like stuck in the road? Is that some trap?
I mean, I don't see a washing machine there, so no reason to get stuck, but maybe it's a trap. And yeah, I believe it is some sort of that.
Might actually be some delayed 8-lane push?
Ooh, that would be very, very spicy, as we do see a lot of tanks here by GTD going towards the hill. The thing is, though, which is surprising me a little, that basically Legend, they didn't send anyone to the 1-2 line except the passive 279s to confirm whether it is maybe a 1-2-3 line push or how many people are crossing. So they don't exactly know how many people are going to the hill. But Kaput Legend in his CS, he should find out pretty soon, as he does peek there. Spots out 1, spots out 2 Chieftains plus the CS, even gets a shot of damage. Very, very nice, but I would love for him to peek again to just confirm how much is coming there. He does see 1 more, so he just knows it is time to bail, as do the double 50Bs, and this sparks the immediate reaction here by Legend. Just the delayed 8-line push, also double Chieftain, just straight through the courtyard, just cornering that guy in D4. The 279s on the 3-line so far not pushing, but it's going to be all about those tanks in the 8-line. But GTD very quick to react, actually. They've pulled back a lot of tanks, and they've not really overcommitted on the hill, I believe.
Yeah, talking about overcommitments, you see those 2 Chieftains there? I feel like they're a bit alone, and I don't think they will be worth their HP there. Yeah, what was that? Like, Dragos and Zota the Legend? Like, that's 3k HP difference immediately, even a bit more. And I feel like that was a bit overeager.
Yeah, Zota and Dragos probably following orders here. I mean, I like to say that when I suicided as well, because that was just that, a suicide here. And now we see GTD just coming in from every side here onto that. What was an 8-line push is now a sandwich here, as we can see. Just GTD blue tanks from all sides. Sophia, Lauren, de Michel will have to be careful here in the 279. He cannot angle to all sides. Also, Captain Phantom behind him, just low HP down to a one-shot. And it's just the GTD tanks who can trade here ever so effectively. The 250Bs, or actually the 150B here, Last Ghost, he seems to be on reload. It's just 7 and BQ-Bucks. They're trying to do whatever they can to make it worth it here for Legend, but the HP there is still in favor of GTD. This is just a mess everywhere. It's just individual trades now, but at the moment the guns are still in favor of GTD, and also the hill. It has a CS here for Legend, but there's a heavy tank by GTD, and it's full HP almost, and it's now finding Kaput. So basically the hill is out of the picture at the moment, as we do see probably the repush into the 8-line by GTD coming in, but they're bleeding heavily.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of HP dropping left, right, center. The 50B was the first one to drive in. I guess he was more or less empty, and Albert was supposed to clip out, but Last Ghost paid attention to that and emptied this clip as well. So yeah, both teams bleeding HP. I would say it's pretty much even right now. And yeah, it's a lot of decision making that has to happen. There's still some tanks out of game. There's a 279 on F2, 279 on C2. Those HP they have to get into the game. And if Legend wants to keep this game running, they need to get some flanks won for them, because otherwise that will be a big sandwich here.
Yeah, the timing working out perfectly here for Albert Prolik as he gets the push into his 50B without taking another shot by Michalika or Michalitska in the 279E. Now Gelu Redline feeling he needs to push here. He does take a lot of HP, but in turn one of the chieftains gets picked up. He will not get one more into the 50B. That was a tank from the back, actually. Albert Prolik should be pre-aiming Last Ghost here as he does. Last Ghost taking one more shot, probably still on reload, down to 427 HP, so possible one shot here. And now it is 6,200 HP compared to 3,600 by Legend and only 3 tanks remaining. Yeah, there is a full HP Batchat, but I don't think it can make some plays as times are changing here. Legend seems to be losing on their defensive side. GTD onto a next attack win, and Big and Rolik in the same position that we did see the 2 chieftains getting killed off earlier. I'm not sure what that was, and GTD just with the right reactions here, I gotta say. They saw perfectly fine what was happening, and immediately after that, their reactions were just so good that they were able to completely counter whatever Legend was throwing at them through the 8 line. And in the end, I mean, it was sort of closer than it probably needed to be, as we see probably first guy here sort of timed out, I guess, as he still has... How does he still have full ammo, but he did deal damage? That's...
I think that's the perspective of the observer, because when we were in first person, there was like one shot damage done. I'm not sure what happened with him. I guess he disconnected. I'm pretty sure he was playing last round. So yeah, I mean, the Batchat would have been definitely some decision factor. Imagine having 2 clips more from the Batchat within the... Yeah, I don't know. That is probably a bit of an unlucky move. But yeah, so we have roughly 6 minutes for this attack. That will be definitely now the fastest attack. So far, I think all the attack rounds were won. So let's see what Legend has prepared for the next round. It's them to even out the board again. Yeah, the Batchat, I don't know. I guess there was a disconnect. I see that he is also not connected in the client right now. So yeah, let's hope that he will come back. There are definitely replacement players, but yeah, 50 Vs here from the side of GTD dealing great damage. I mean, that 776 is still a very decent score. Overall, I felt like it was not that... I mean, it was not that obvious who would be the winner of that match. I think after the initial push of the 2 chieftains, Legend gave away a lot. Like, I think those were Dragos and Zota. You see, they only fired 3 shells. Even, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what their plan was. There wasn't really anyone to cover from the back.
I feel like they were supposed to sort of cover the repush that would happen over the northern part of the map by GTD. The problem was there was no one really to back them up, right?
Yeah, I think they should have stayed in the 4 line and carefully went like step by step a bit further then. And yeah, I feel like it was a bit overeager. I would say with those 2 chieftains not dying there, that would have been a 14 versus 15 winnable game.
That would have definitely been a winnable game. It was just, two guns just given away for free. Also put the Batchat in the game, and you probably have a win here for Legend. But yeah, it sometimes do be like that. And we do see GTD now for the first time in this match clawing up ahead, going up 2-1, but if we follow the pattern of this match, it's not going to last for long, because as you pointed out, so far only attacking wins. So maybe the Romanians here just completely neglecting the defense and just going for that reckless aggression that we like to see. I did like the idea of the 8-line repush there immediately with the Chieftains up on confirming what was happening on the hill. What I did not like was that basically the 2 Chieftains, I think that's a pretty nice idea to push them there, but you definitely need 1 or 2 tanks just in the courtyard to be able to back them up, and if they get pushed, to just convert them into something countable, which is HP advantage, and that simply wasn't the case. Yeah, that all being said and done, we are almost heading into round number 4, and I have to say this is already a lot more exciting than I imagined it would be, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, 5 seconds left. Looks like all the players are there now. We can directly hop into the next game. We see an E3 from the side of GTD, also an E100. I hope that we will not see a camp here, because I felt like GTD was doing pretty fine without camping. So 1 E100, 3 times the 279, a lot of Chieftains, double B, 1 E100. Yeah, the E3 and the CS, probably for the hill. We see triple, I mean, it's pretty much the same lineup. There's just the E100 and the E3 traded against 2 Chieftains. When it comes to hill commitment, obviously the Chieftains are much faster than the E100. One tank might not be the difference maker there. So yeah, I guess it's on the CSs to, like, first of all, get through and not get stuck. And then, yeah, we will see if both teams commit to the hill, if there will be a big brawl, or...
I mean, there is one...
What happened there? That was like 300 HP gun for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unlucky.
I mean, maybe they have some like spring feelings and...
But the thing is, or rather the problem is for GTD here, and I think Legend is recognizing this, you can count the tanks by GTD that will stay on the lower side. It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be 3 279s that are almost going to certainly stay down. The E100, 100%, the E3 just as well. And then you're just left with 5 tanks that are going to be 100% bottom side. And then you can be sure if you leave 4 on the bottom, as Legend is doing right now, you will have the overmatch on the hill. So right now we have 11 against 10 tanks on the hill. And
I think is doing a great job there. Like, he's spotting out, even though he will die now, they will immediately know what it is about. They might actually have some turrets turn so that Zota there in his Chieftain can get some damage. You see both the 50Bs take a few shots. And yeah, we see the big fire line there. You said it. We have a tank advantage from the side of Legend.
Great stuff here, but Legend even pushing Zota and Dragos over there behind the rubble. That is just going to provide great cross shots. Even the 50B now getting pushed. He's probably reloading, but he should provide a big hull down here. He shouldn't try to hide behind the Chieftains. That's a big mistake. And GTD now recognizing this, they are in between a rock and a hard place. They are trying to repush, and in they come here onto the inferior numbers by Legend. The problem is there is just so many guns trained at them from every side. HP dropping left and right now with the advantage for GTD. Legend still with the problem of having 2 guns out of the game, sort of with Last Ghost and the Chieftain behind the pile of rubble here, but it seems like Legend is able to stabilize west of the castle here, but now with just for kill you, my goodness, those names. It should be actually GTD taking the better engagement here, and the better engagement with inferior numbers. We said it before this even started. This was 10 versus 11, and GTD just crawling back out of it. I think the disjointed push over the 0 line was the problem here by Legend. You need to push the 50Bs and 1 Chieftain directly together with a CS to create the hull downs, to just have the crossfire, and all the Chieftains on the outside of the hill need to peek together to make this work. And you see the last dying desperate efforts here by Legend to make something come together, but it's all going to be in vain. As you do see the HP, it's just at the moment 7k HP in favor, and the tanks from the hill for GTD, they have yet to arrive.
Yeah, I mean, that game with 4 tanks left and this HP disadvantage is pretty much over. I would like to address the point that, we kind of saw that there was a bit of a problem from the side of Legend when it comes to the push. So we had a CS first positioned here, and the CS then pushed in here, lost all the HP. Obviously, he got the spot, but he had the problem that he was not driving into the correct spot. So he was trying to hide here, but the idea of the CS is to put him here sideways and to have a chieftain that can freely play Haldan behind him. Same happened with the 50B, you mentioned it. The 50B pushed to the same corner again, then it was on 300 HP, had to reload for the next, 25, 30 seconds, and again, wasn't helping out the Chiefs. So the Chiefs had to pull back, and yeah, with that being done, there was just a lot of HP loss for not really like the positional advantage that they could have had. And yeah, I would say convincing victory, decisive maneuvers from GTD. And that's exactly what we wanted to see, right?
Indeed, but I would like to raise the question of some what ifs. What if the double chieftain in the first Himmels game doesn't make the mistake of pushing down middle without cover? What if the Batchet is in this game actually? And in this game now, what if Legend just takes the 0 line on the hill with CS double B immediately, pushes up one or two chieftains there to the rubble, where the CS and the 50Bs are, has one chieftain on the upper side hill to crossfire, and the rest of the chieftains just hull down, as you should do it. What happens then? I believe then you just have the 11 on 10 situations, your autoloaders get to clip. If you're lucky, the CS just gets to DPM the whole battle long, and then it's just an entirely different story. I think this was not to take anything away from GTD. They played this one perfectly against what Legend was doing. I just feel like Legend could have, should have, and I don't know, normally would have done it better. This is probably, I don't know, nerves showing here for Legend even?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's something that you lose 2 games in a row. Like, we had a convincing, I would say, victory in the first game. Then Legend had to suffer the first defeat on the attack of Live Oaks from GTD. Then them taking the next round. Obviously, when someone disconnects in the middle of a game, and that's the final game now, there's always a bit of like bad mood, and it can like you can get into this feeling of tilt. And yeah, then those things might happen, and you concentrate of communicating the wrong things. And yeah, that's the result. I hope that this is now their time to wake up. We had mentioned it earlier. Next map is Prokhorovka. It's not match point. It's a best of 9. That means you need to win 5 times. And I think that's something that is definitely good for Legend now, because they're not feeling that super high pressure. Obviously, you're down 2 points, and that is not good. But being match pointed directly in a reverse sweep after winning the first game will definitely wreck their nerves. And yeah.
Also, I would like to point out the map we just played, Himmelsdorf, was actually Legend's pick, and they did get 2-0'd by GTD on it. And now we're hopping over to Prokhorovka, which is in turn GTD's pick. And let's take a quick look, not at the post-game stats, but at the setups. Legend coming in here with a CGC WBR. There is 4 907s rest chieftains, while GTD, on the other hand, has also CGC, but triple EBR, 1 Leo, double CS, and the rest is chieftains. Sort of standard setups, although GTD will be able to go to the hill faster, albeit not heavier, because the 907s are in a prolonged fight gonna wreck the CSs, obviously, due to the sturdier turrets. But if some chieftains join that, then obviously the 907s will be outmatched in that department. And here we go, as we see both teams deploying here. We do see Legend sort of taking the 1-2 line with what seems to be like 4 chieftains, as well as WBR to just clear out immediately. But it's more interesting what GTD is doing here from the south on their attacking sides. They're sending double CS directly in the QB maneuver down to the 9-0 line. They're going to secure probably the C0 position immediately should the CSs come there. And I believe they will not get punished, because the 907s are on the wrong side of the rail here. And we will see chieftains just taking middle control for GTD. We will see chieftains just taking corner control northeast for GTD. That's a lot of map control 1. This in turn is pressuring Legend into some sort of repush at the moment. I wonder how good that one's going to be, because at the moment I feel like everywhere they push, they will be in the fire of hold-down chieftains.
Yeah, I mean, right now we see Legend bleeding a lot of HP. They had a small HP advantage after the CSs and the Chieftain committed into the C0 position. But now HP dropping left, right, center, already 1.5k HP down. And I don't really feel that they gained a lot. Like there are 2 Chieftains positioned safely on the K2 and J1 position, holding that, giving some shots in. And with only the double EBR, I don't think they can clean that up. And yeah, that's not super good.
Yeah, the thing is, I believe GTD underestimated a bit how many Chieftains would be positioned in B9. There's only 1 Chieftain here by GTD, actually, to push onto 2 Chieftains together with 2 CSs. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, because Roby Legend is back there to back up his 2 Chieftain brethren. So at the moment, it's sort of impossible for GTD to push B9, really, and they don't have airstrike available. This is not advances. And yeah. Other than that, you do have in the middle sort of the brawl everywhere along the ridge lines, but it's all going to be about K2, J2 area, where at the moment there's a desperate fight going on in between both sides. The EBR Grusaru Pro League, he's desperately trying to get away here from the Chieftains of the enemy team while trying to spot out Pozonak here for his fellow Chieftains. He does put one more shot into Michalitska, gets picked up in the process by Just For Kill You, but Just For Kill You falls in turn, and now we have just another, we have Just For Kill You and Wild Thing here to hold against Pozonak and just put shots, crucial shots, mind you, into the back of the 907s that are situated in HJ6. It's just crossfires everywhere, but at the moment I would give the positional advantage to GTD, who obviously have the HP advantage.
Yeah, I mean, the EBR will kind of try to confuse them a bit, turn some turns. Oh, now directly getting picked up by a high wall. And it's crucial to say that with nothing on the A1 line, like, I don't know, C1 at least, or E1 maybe already, Wild Thing will just turn sideways now, and Just For Kill You can use his rack against Robbie Legend there and hold this position. And in case he is not overpeaking, he might not even get spotted until Kobe reaches the position of, like, I don't know, H1. And yeah, that's a lot of damage that can be dealt in the meantime. And with nearly half of the HP only left for Legend, that is very hard to come back from that position.
Yeah, Zota also getting picked up here. That's another kill going in favor of GTD, I believe. And also, it's noteworthy that basically the B9 position that I didn't think could be pushed right now has actually been pushed with the help of an EBR joining in. Begin Rolik now beginning to feel the pain here as there's just 4 tanks in front of him. And now this is the beginning of the end here for Legend on this map. Or at least in this game here, as now there's just so many guns available, so much HP to spare for GTD, who are putting in an admirable show here. Just everything one step ahead of Legend, it seems. The execution impeccable, the plan beautiful. I like what I'm seeing here by GTD. Legend, not so much. And now they can already start thinking about how to come back in at what will have to be almost a clean reverse sweep, just 1 match missing in a best of 9. Seems like an almost insurmountable task now. Also, Sophia Loren falling. That's the Artigon here for Legend, who are just now on 3,800 HP against the almost 10k that we are still seeing from GTD. Yes, the numbers are still sort of even in guns, but everywhere that Legend tanks are going to be engaging tanks from GTD, it's just going to be the case that the GTD tanks just don't care. They still have the HP. You can see Hidden Ultra Instinct just chasing down the 907 here. That is on a one-shot. Even the 907 gets picked up, and now it's just 4 Chieftains plus 1 907 in sort of a big concave against the onslaught of the blue tanks here, and the angles. They're just going to finish it here for GTD, because you can aim at one direction, you can aim like 30 degrees to the right, but you cannot aim behind you at the same time. And yeah, that's just what's happening here. GTD, just after losing the first battle, coming back and just saying, all right, let's put the pedal to the metal, let's put the foot on the gas, we're in charge of this now. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, well, that map was definitely a convincing victory. And what I really, really liked was that GTD, they're already in the driver's seat and they're not sitting back and doing anything. But they decided to bring the aggression directly to Legend by taking this important B8 position directly, pushing through the 9-0 line, taking some aggressive spots, being prepared for not only playing as a defender who's sitting and just only waiting for things to happen, but they took the aggression to the enemies and they got rewarded for playing like that. And that's what we would like to see, like always having a plan, being structured in your maneuvering. And I feel like they were well prepared. They had some defensive stances, but also got map control at the very beginning already. And yeah, well, we saw a lot of attack wins at the beginning. And yeah, the aggression is continuing. And I'm not sure if Legend will be able to stand down and calm but come back from that 4-win victory here.
Also, to be honest, it feels like everything is falling into place here for GTD right now. If we take a quick look at the post-game stats, we do see James, the MVP, actually showing up on the top here with the Leo 1 5k damage dealt and 1 kill to his name. That's a beautiful, beautiful score for Leo and Prokhorovka. That just shows that basically Legend was just exactly doing what GTD wanted, right? Because the Leo, which is the tank, which is supposed to be in the back, just farming his heart out, did get to do just that.
This is the chieftain that was in the back position, 3.4k damage blocked. Like the time that
just perfectly played.
Yeah,
I mean, Wild Thing, not that much, 1.6, but that again, he did die first, but yeah, just for kill you, 3.4k. And then we have Hidden Ultra Instinct. I believe he was one of the CSs that met the Chieftains first, but after the Chieftains got overrun, he also got to farm so much. And right now, GTD, I just have to put it out here, look pretty unstoppable. And as we are now at the score of 4-1, we are at the match point, actually, which Legend probably wanted to avoid at any cost, but weren't able to. And now they're going to have to play a picture-perfect game from now on to just be able to stay alive.
Yeah, I would like to at least see some aggression back from the side of Legend. I mean, obviously, you don't get super motivated by having those 4 games getting against you. I mean, they had a decent start, and now it's probably wrecking their nerves, and also it's not really great to be behind, to not have a second chance and stuff like this. But I mean, they were showing great gameplay in the previous matches, and I feel like it wouldn't really show enough if we just end after this with a 5-1 and then everything is gone already.
But yeah, I believe that is not down to us. That is not down to us, as there's a reason why they're sitting there with the keyboards and mouses and we only got the microphones, Phil, as we hop into what may be the last game of the Romanian Community League here. It is the finals. It is game number 6 in between Legend and GTD. GTD on the match point. Legend with their backs against the wall here. They need to show us something to stay alive. And we do see Legend coming in with 1 CGC, double EBR, 3 97s, 1 Leo 1, double CS, and a lot of Chieftains, while GTD, on the other hand, have 1 CGC, Manticore, double EBR, 1 277. Interesting choice, and the rest is just Chieftains. So GTD with the heavier lineup, Legend with the more mobile lineup, but there is obviously that hull down power on the defensive side, just with that many Chieftains for GTD. And we do now see here that is right now Legend taking the eastern side completely. I believe we saw this tactic already against Energy, I think, where they did get halted because Energy had a lot of tanks committed to the east as well, but this time it's a bit different. GTD has control everywhere. The EBRs, they don't see anything right now. The thing is that Manticore, he's not going to go to spot actively, obviously, and GTD very, very aware there might be a trap on the 1-2 line, as they just beautifully pulled off, so I can understand why there's no one committing quite there yet. And Legend, they're pulling a U-turn, I believe.
Yeah, well, those 3 chieftains, that will be impossible to push, to be honest. Like, you see that there is a 4th chieftain, Romy the Wise, on A8. You will see the pushing through the 7 line. And I think Legend realized that, and if we take a quick look at the minimap, we can see here those chieftains, they're rotated back, and also the 907, the Leopard is driving. I hope that he didn't. Okay, I guess he just went somewhere like that. But yeah, it was looking a bit weird on the minimap.
He just, he didn't go left, he didn't go right, he just went full steam ahead down the hill.
Yeah. So yeah, I like all of the tanks from the side of Legend correctly rotated back. I mean, EBR did a good job. Last goes there spotting out the chiefs, and I would say good rotation from both sides. Like GTD, you see those chieftain on C8, they're also pulling back more, I guess, towards the middle now, towards the E7 position. They realize, okay, if they wanted to push, they would have done it.
Oh,
now we
the
have
Leo
to react.
CYE Roby is actually spotted here in the Leo 1. That's giving away a lot of info. Feel the Jägermeister on the hill in the EBR actually taking a shot by Villain FTW. I'm still struggling with those names. My goodness, why can't it be just easy ones? But yeah, the EBR obviously thus getting chased off the hill, and this buys a little time here on the 0 line for Legend, as they are sort of weak there. But the thing is, it is up to Legend to push here to just avert defeat in this match, because it is 4-1, and I so far have yet to see what their game plan is going to be. If it's going to be a 1-2 line push, I think that Legend might actually be in for a very, very nasty surprise here, because there's the 277, like a lot of chieftains there in the holdowns, the Manticore probably sitting there. I would like to see what modules the Manticore actually has. If he does even have binoculars for stuff like this. No, only the regular optics, but he does have the CVS and the bounty vents, so he should, in theory, be able to spot the enemy tank super early. The CVS obviously not only denying bushes, but also getting a bonus spot on moving targets, so just perfect for spotting tanks pushing down that 1-2 line. And right now, talking about 1-2 line, it seems like the push is getting lined up there. Kazna saying hello, rotating in their 2016 grave probably, as we do see the Leo 1 getting rotated to the 0 line, and normally the Leo is where the push is not. So everything looking like a 1-2 push. My personal guess is it would fail. What do you think, Phil?
I think it's important to say that we have a lot of tanks from GTD actually committed on the other side. That's always something good if you push into one side and enemy has tanks on the other side. But what is important to say is that there is a chieftain on G0 and
already spotted.
Yep, exactly. And the Manticore, he will be a crucial point. I'm not sure why the 907 is there alone already. So yeah, put all your tanks together and see if you can make it through. Like, there's so much HP bleeding now already happening, and usually the chieftains should be the first ones to move.
Yeah, first of all, the chieftains should be the first ones to push. Second of all, GTD seeing all of this, we're already able to push one more chieftain even towards A3. That's just one more tank that is going to be ever so crucial. Now the EBR finally finding the Manticore, who did have to fire, the EBR falling in the process. That's going to be crucial, because the heavy tanks by GTD, they're not really going to get spotted until super late. The Manticore even staying alive. My goodness, one of the heavy tanks seems to be spotted, but right now no damage taken here by GTD. And the tanks by Legend, they're just bleeding. 6k, 7k, 8k HP advantage for the defending team here. And this is probably not only the beginning of the end here for Legend in this game, it is the beginning of the end of this match, because Begin Rolik is now dropping here in his 907, and there's just so many chieftains hold down, just farming on the enemy with only one RT to punish them. Phil, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should have done it a bit more coordinated. I mean, that's obviously something easy to say, but they lost a lot of HP at the beginning, and might have actually been an option to push the 5-6 line instead. At the beginning, they had 2 chieftains that got spotted out there very early. So if we take a look at the map, we obviously saw now we have the repush there by the chieftains. We saw that a lot of tanks were committed to the 9 line, to the 8 line. At least 3 chieftains there, plus RT, plus the snipers on A6. And I feel like you could have tried to either push directly into the 3 line or push into the 6 line. But with that amount of heavy tanks being Howldown put in those hard to push situation, I don't know, like the positions were just too good.
I mean, to be honest, like the last games, it looked like GTD just was reading Legend like an open book here. Just everything that Legend was throwing at GTD, it just didn't stick, man. Those guys by GTD, they seem to be made out of Teflon, dude. And now it is GTD just in full-on assault at the remainders of the Legend team here. The win is already confirmed. We're just going to have to see who gets to pad the most damage. The gun marks are not going to go up, obviously, in this special battle here, but it will be a very, very nice experience for the guys in the GTD team. Who's their FC even, Phil? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the GTD team is led by their commander, Gelu Redline. Check out his stream. We will rate him later. They will definitely be happy about that convincing show here today. I know that he's also interested in the...
we called it finished, but actually the HP are evening
it's
out
like
here.
double the HP on the defensive side. I mean, let's not call it a day already, but...
I mean, 7 Navy also falling here. H-Tag taking a lot of shots from below the hill. Now, it's going to be down to rolls here. And actually, CYE Valine gets the first hit onto H-Tag. He needs an exceptionally high roll. Actually, CYE Valine now doesn't even need a high roll here because the Arty helped him. So the hill, once again, firmly in control here by Legend. I mean, the CS now repushing White Rock. He's a one-shot, so he cannot really fire. Now he can, as the enemy tank is one-shot. That's another tank gone by GTD. I mean, did we...
No medium tanks left? Oh, what exactly happened there?
I mean, Valine now finally falls on the hill because Gale Redline, the commander himself, decides to get involved personally and pick one up here. Now White Rock taking a lot of map control. That's pretty aggressive. He's still a watch up, mind you. But yeah, the RT, he should be safe from any kind of whatever the CS might be trying. But we do see I'm Black. He just needs to he should spot out the CS, but actually it's going to be the CS to get the first kill. Now Romy Tawais, he needs to be very careful to hit his shot here. He's a one-shot as well. Wild Thing probably should pick up White Rock here from the backlines as he still has a lot of HP. The RT shot actually misses Romy Tawais. Romy did still have the medkit available, so he's not going to be just peaked by White Rock, and we see Dragos now in the back coming. Romy Tawais also gone. Zota in turn gets picked up by Seekos. 40 seconds on the clock. It's a 3v3. How did we ever get to this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it was looking pretty convincing, and then there was the repush happening from the side of GTD with a triple chieftain on the 2 line into the CS, and I just get...
Oh, Seekos spotted out, 20 seconds.
They weren't really able to retaliate the HPs there. Like, the Manticore dropped pretty early, I would say. Like, he tried to
12 seconds. If Dragos connects this one now, he has the reload. He's trying to aim at the cupola. He misses the cupola. That should be the confirmed win. And yeah, there we go. Wild Thing even high rolling on Dragos. But as much praise as I was giving GTD prior to 5 minutes ago, as Paralympic were the last 5 minutes. I mean, congratulations for GTD winning, but this was, I mean, if I wouldn't know it better, I would have thought this was a match played by our brethren from across the ocean, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, and A wants to have his players back. Let's take a quick look at the end score. I mean, it's obviously a 5-1 victory from the side of GTD. They were defending this match, time ran out, so their victory. I would say honorable mention here, definitely 18, 17, 16. I think that was the chieftain. Was it the chieftain on the hill? I think. Yeah, I think it was the chieftain.
Yes,
from
it was
the
the
back.
chief.
Also decent damage here again done by the artillery, Dirty Kilker. But yeah. Okay, our winner is GTD. 5-1, and the last match wasn't really that convincing. Like, They had it in their back pocket, and then they were like, "Yeah, let me take it out and throw it away," or "I'm not sure what to do with it."
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the only problem that GTD had in the last game is that they didn't throw it far enough.
Yeah.
But they were very, very close to it. Holy moly.
yeah, I mean, yeah, GTD being the winner of that match, I would say definitely a deserved victory. 5-1 speaks a clear language. And I would say Legend, they had already their first struggles that I saw in the quarterfinals. You remember the game against Root where they should have dropped the ends ground when the 277 didn't wouldn't have, I don't know. Yeah. And then against Energy, we kind of saw them pretty convincing on Sand River, which would have been the next map, but they didn't play it. So maybe they shouldn't have picked Himmelsdorf, but picked Sand River.
Definitely shouldn't have. But yeah, I think we should stop talking about Legend and instead just start talking about GTD. Just congratulations, except those last 5 minutes in the last game. Pretty exciting stuff. I can't wait to see them in possible future tournaments, campaigns, Clan Wars, whatever advances. And with that, I believe we shouldn't make it longer than it needs to be, right?
Yep. Thanks everyone for watching. That was roughly 1 hour and 15 of, hopefully also interesting content for you. This is the end.
This is the end.
I hope everyone had a good weekend. Stay healthy. We will go raid someone and have a great evening. Any last words, Key?
You took it all of my mouth. See ya, have a great evening, and good luck on the battlefield.